Hello everyone. Hey, I have a quick update and would love to have your feedback in what's your first reaction of how this is going. Um, so I previously talked a couple of weeks ago with to all of you about seven levers, and I was considering all the business levers. I have now added here the financial leverage. But financial leverage doesn't exist without the others. So I'm going to be focusing only on seven fin- levers to financial freedom through all of this. And by the way, there's little to no money needed in the first six. Obviously, assets we need to build them. We can come up with the assets, etc. But I want to show you a little bit of what I've been working on the value leverage. I talk here, I'm going to go very, very quickly just to get a, an idea of what I'm working on. Um, I in every one of these levers, I tell a story, a true story. So here I tell a story about how this is a true story. My dad purchased a painting in an antique store, and that he purchased very cheap. And the value of that painting, after checking with some experts, it's supposed to be a lot more because it may be in the Louvre Museum in it's European art, etc. So it may be in the Louvre Museum. And that lesson here is that the same item has different value in different places, etc. I go then to talk about Alibaba and eBay and Amazon and different brandings, how value is different in different um, uh, with brand or no brand, and what's the reasons that there's more value, and why is it that there's leverage, most importantly that there's leverage in the value. So a little bit about that, but it's all about the thirst. So a bottle of water in the middle of the desert is very valuable and not in the middle of the rainforest, right? So that's a little bit about the story about around value. Then I talk about volume and how it's a strategic source of leverage. I tell also a true story about the Supreme brand and how it is amazing what they do with their brand and how they sell out in seconds whenever they make these drops. Look, 6 seconds, etc. So I make a lot of case study how leverage there's leverage in volume. I tell a little bit about this and the resellers market. I compare it with the resellers leveraging the value, the desire, and etc. So uh, that's the story a little bit about how um, the leverage in volume. Then I share the leverage of efficiency. And here I tell also another true story about how Henry Ford changed our world and our global economics through I've talked to you about this before. It's the production line, right? And how he validated his idea and really changed with with the assembly line. The assembly line. I tell this story. I give some examples, and and I show how powerful the efficiency is. Look at how he was a genius. This man, he made 10,000 faster his cars, producing 108 times more in just a few years, 2 million cars per year in 1923. Imagine that power of the production line. And I tell all about the leverage, how powerful efficiency really is in cheaper cars, income, how he shared his benefits to employees, etc. There's a lot of leverage in here. So then I talk about the leverage of scalability, and how we can replicate a business model. And I also tell a true story here. The true story is a small coffee shop in Seattle, Washington. Then this guy, Mr. Schultz, purchased the business, and he validated value, volume, efficiency. He found this process, this business, and he created the business model. He validated it, and then, oh, look at this. Yeah, Mr. Yeah. He kicks this out of the park, and then he adds scalability. Again, I'm sorry, I'm going very fast, just trying to give you a little bit of update how this is working out, and so I can get your feedback. He so he's this is the leverage of scalability, how a Starbucks model, he replicated it immensely, right? Today there are over 30,000 Starbucks around the world, and so this is the business model, and the lessons of leverage around there. And I compare it then with he's a billionaire, and then I compare the models with employee by one, right? You know my perception about all of this. Anyway, the scalability, the effectiveness, leverage. I also tell a true story here, um, a personal true story that I lost a lot of money. I told you about this before. It's my Red Barn story, my outlet store, how I was disrupted. Um, Nothing worked, and I found that shopping, even at the restroom, right, with Amazon, I found that consumers' habits had tremendously changed. You know, all this digital age, disruption trends, etc. How effectiveness. To I added this to the formula. Here's effectiveness. Everything all this is worthless if effectiveness is equal to zero, right? I mean, uh, so there's a big lesson there, and if we have a lot of effectiveness, it's a strategic source of leverage. And look at this. I compare it with some gold here. This guy working all day to get this, or getting this, finding this. That's different effectiveness, right? Or digging gold out of a mountain. There's big lessons there. So that's the leverage of effectiveness. Then I have the leverage of control, being in the driver's seat. And I also say, here's a true story, how economic sanctions between countries, it's control and social oppression. I tell the story here of Rosa Parks, Mandela, etc. But it's control. Then I take it to business. Business control is strategic, and I have the example of how Amazon they are genius masters of strategic control, right? With the power of Amazon Prime. Look at this. They have 105 million loyal buyers in the US. This is control. If I am a subscriber of Amazon Prime, why would I buy anywhere else, right? I mean, they control the market. Look, 50% of all e-commerce in the US goes to Amazon. And then I give a lot of other lessons how Amazon is controlling, and how they buy other competitors to keep control, etc. There's a lot of lessons around here about about leverage in control. We're talking here strategy, mindset of how to find the good business opportunities. That's the whole big picture of this. How we can use this business formula that I shared with you a few days ago. Basically, is this effectiveness, volume, value, efficiency minus efficiency, scalable. So I think, tell me please, what do you think? understanding how money is made and how to be strategic and how to evaluate a good business opportunity and a bad one. Here it is. This is the formula. These are the variables. Obviously, there's no perfect scenario here, but at least we have the good idea. This is how I evaluate opportunities, right? Business opportunities. So uh, I think there's huge, amazing power here. Let me know if it's confusing or what do you think? So that was control number 7 is assets, and here I talk about tangible assets and intangible assets and the power of uh, how we can leverage the power of assets. Anyway, my friends, have a great weekend. I don't want to take too much of your time. Please give me some feedback, share some feedback, send me an email if you want to start a conversation or something. I am very, very interested because if this is not valuable for you, I'm working, uh, I'm making a fool of myself. So your feedback is critical. This is for you. You will all be invited into all of this for free. You are uh, my loyal people. So, you know, anyway, I want to hear from you. Please, please. Okay. Have a great weekend. Take care, everyone.